Welcome to the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast, also streaming expert CRE Secrets podcast, where we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with capital gains tax when it comes to selling highly appreciated assets, or on expert CRE Secrets. We believe most real estate brokers have a hard time figuring out passive ways to build wealth beyond just buying investment real estate and the EXP commercial model, and also working with folks who are doing wholesales and flips and investing in real estate is the best way for you to grow your wealth. I'm your host, Brett Swarts, and each episode I'm joined by some of the best real estate, wealth, financial, and sometimes wholesalers in the world, where they share their ideas, deal stories, and inspiration. So together we can make complex tax deferral strategies simple, passive income plans achievable. I'm excited about our next guest. In fact, he's a repeat guest. And he's done over 300 real estate deals and has generated millions of dollars for himself and for his friends, family, and his students who learn how to do wholesales and all kinds of other things in real estate. In fact, he has an amazing company that we're going to learn about, dfdmastery.com. Please welcome to the show with me, Zack Boothe. Zack, how you doing today?
Doing well. Thanks for having me, brother. It's good to see you again.
Absolutely. And I know today's a big day. You got your braces off and you're out of the great state of Utah. Is the smoke over from California going over the top? But you got your braces off, so nothing really matters, right?
Nothing matters anymore. It's actually kind of funny, dude. The day I got them on 2 years and 7 months ago, I actually had an interview with the new title company we've been using. And we were having lunch, dude, and I drooled all over myself. And I was like, don't mind me. I just got braces. I'm sorry. It was so embarrassing. So yeah, it's good to have them off. It feels great for sure.
Excellent. We're going to talk about all things finding discounted properties. And by the way, you can go back to the March episode, search Zack Boothe on YouTube or iTunes for my podcast, and you can hear his full story. But we're just going to dive into just deal stories that are happening right now, what Zack's seeing in the marketplace, what things are working for wholesalers and real estate investors alike. So let's just give a brief 1 minute background and story, Zack, and then let's dive right into today's episode.
Yeah. Background, I used to be a window washer. I'll keep it as simple as possible. You can actually find my window cleaning tutorials on YouTube with millions of views, but I got into real estate investing, real estate wholesaling more specifically. I did my first traditional wholesale deal. It wasn't my first real estate investment deal, but my first traditional, where I sold the purchase contract before I ever closed on the deal and made $10,000. That was back in 2017. Fast forward to this year, right now we're recording it is towards the end of August 2021. And last week we just hit the $1 million mark in wholesale fees and, in fees coming into us. We're on track to do anywhere between 1.5 and 1.6 million for the year with a couple whopper deals pending close. So that's just a simple background. Like you said, you can learn more from the other podcast.
Phenomenal. By the way, you can learn more about what Zack Boothe does for his students and his clients, partners, friends, family at dfdmastery.com. That's D as in David, F as in Frank, D as in D, mastery.com. So let's talk about that one. That was before the show, you're chatting a little bit about this big deal, this larger deal. And I guess the first question I have is what's the biggest takeaway so far of being able to capture this deal and structure the deal so it's a win-win for everybody?
Yeah. So I've had some fun deals this year. One's actually a personal house. We can share that one later. But the one you're referring to is actually one of my biggest deals I've ever done. Hasn't closed yet, so it might be the biggest loser. But we're forecasting biggest revenue on any deal we've ever done. So total profits on the deal should be close to $600,000. That's after paying off my private money investor and paying him a nice return and remodel costs and everything else. And then the person that brought us the deal we're partnering with, and we're giving him 50% of the deal. He's helping manage as well. He's a general contractor, so he's doing that portion of it. But our cut will be about $300,000. So it's a traditional flip. I don't do a ton of flips. I don't like flips. Because I don't want to manage construction projects very much. I want to find deals, source deals, do marketing, and get paid for finding investment opportunities. And then the deals that I actually close on, I want for my own business or my own portfolio, right? My own net worth. But the way you asked how we found the deal, right? And how the listeners can duplicate. So one thing that I believe in, it's really changed my life is serving and giving. because I really believe that whatever you give will come back to you. And I read a self-help journal called Living Your Best Year Ever that talked about the importance of whatever you want to receive, you have to give it. So if you want love, you have to give love. If you want money, you have to give money. You have to put money in people's pockets. So I started coaching and teaching people what I was doing for the whole purpose of putting money in their pocket. So the universe or God or whatever you want to say will return it to me. And, that concept really changed what we do and how we do it. And we started helping and teaching other people in our market what we're doing and how we're doing it, how we're finding deals. Someone found a deal and didn't necessarily know what to do because there were some complicated situations with tenants, and the old landlord was crazy. There was like 6 college students partying in this $1 million house. It was madness. So he ended up bringing it to us. So that's how we source a deal, just through relationships, which is pretty cool.
I love that. Absolutely. And I imagine the larger deals you can own and get more scale, right? By kind of going through the blocking and tackling takes more time. The bigger the deal, the bigger the opportunity to profit, then probably the more likely you are to own that versus just to turn it and flip it, right? Or maybe that's not the right word, to assign it, right?
Yeah, to sell the purchase contract. I mean, it's actually kind of surprising. Most of the properties, if we flipped them ourselves, we probably make darn near the same amount by the time I paid a contractor. I don't have my own staff to do the flips. A lot of these flippers, they're making their profits. They're probably making as much as if they just contracted out the labor, right? If they were just the general contractor on the project, but they prefer to do that because they don't have homeowners to tell them what to fix and how to fix it. So it's crazy what people are paying for deals. That's why I love wholesaling. I'm making just as much and I don't have to go through the hassles. Maybe if the market turns and there's more sellers than buyers, that might reverse and I might have to do more project managements. But normally wholesaling is the best strategy. It's the most profitable, the least amount of time, especially in this current market. But on this particular house, the tenants were in place. They had another 4 months on their lease. And the owner didn't want us to get into the house. So we were able to get into it initially to get pictures and stuff. And then when we blasted out to our cash buyers, we were asking about, we got it for about 750. We were asking about 1 million, 1.1 million. And after repair value is about 1.6. So we were happy to take 150 and, our cut, and not have to do anything and leave quite a bit for the flippers. But the problem is the flippers couldn't get in and look at the house. Because of the seller was being difficult, didn't want a lot of inspections. We had to pay the tenants to move out because they still had time on the lease. There was a lot of complications and our buyers were just being really finicky on the deal. And so, one thing that I always do with every deal that comes across my table is we evaluate what's the best strategy. What's the best exit strategy? Should we flip it? Should we wholesale it? Should we close on it and just list it? They call it wholetailing, right? Should we keep it as a rental for myself, for my own portfolio? And so it's just the way it ended up being the most profitable. And sometimes we'll take a little less profit to wholesale and not have to deal with management and potential risks of, hey, like there's broken water lines. Hey, there's this, there's that. There's lots of unexpected. So
awesome. Yeah. So you assess each deal on its marriage, and ideally you can just wholesale it and assign it and be done and off and running. Sometimes you might own and rent it. Sometimes you might own and quickly flip and then sell it. All makes good sense. So by the way, you can learn more about Zack Boothe at dfdmastery.com. Okay, so now what's changed, if anything, in the fundamentals of actually finding these discounted properties? Are certain things working better than others? Is it creating the YouTube videos and having a cameraman follow you around everywhere so people call you more? Is it the Facebook targeting ads? Like, is it the robo dialer? Like, what do you feel like is the thing that's working best for you right now to find off market properties?
Yeah. So like all the podcasting that I'm doing to my own podcast and YouTube channel and that kind of stuff, that's for me to give back and to help other people that are getting started. And also to find people that need a coach and a mentor that I can help, right? Like that's what that's for. It's kind of my distraction business. Keeps me from making more money in real estate investing, because I love it. Right. And I want that to be my legacy. It's the Stephen Covey, start with the end in mind. I want to be remembered for helping and serving, and so that's what that is. But the way I'm sourcing all of my deals is from Driving for Dollars. You mentioned my website, Driving for Dollars Mastery. What I do is I drive around and I identify properties that have physical signs of neglect, and then I reach out and see if they want to sell. I don't think it necessarily matters whether you text, cold call, and postcard, or do all three. We do all three of those. Our most profitable right now is postcards. And that's in Utah, our Florida market. We're doing more off texting as far as cost. But we're spending anywhere between 9 cents to make $1. And our most expensive one with driving for dollars is 29 cents to make $1, our most expensive. So when we drive around, we find these off-market discounted properties. We're just driving around looking for the ugly ducklings in the neighborhoods, right? And see if they want to sell. So we break down, so we use an app called Deal Machine right now. And it quickly allows us to identify the house and just push a button on the phone, and it uploads their information in an Excel spreadsheet for us. We then export that list, text, cold call, and postcard. But that list, that driving for dollars list, in my numbers that I look at, I break it down into different marketing campaigns. I call it my driving for dollars absentee owner list, my driving for dollars owner occupied, driving for dollars corporate, and driving for dollars turd list, which is our ugliest of houses, right? We separate those into 4 different categories. Our most profitable in Florida is our driving for dollars absentee. Most profitable in Utah is driving for dollars owner occupied. I mean, they're all very, very profitable. Don't get me wrong. And like I said, texting is the most effective of the 3 in Florida, then cold calling, then postcards. In Utah, it's postcards, then texting, then cold calling. But yeah, that's how we're finding them. I would be as transparent as possible. That's what we're doing. I actually use the same strategy to find my personal home we're buying. That's one of my most exciting deals I'm working right now. So
perfect. Right on. I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah. And that's good details. So you're driving around, you're looking for the dog, you're looking for the thing that has needs some love, some neglect. And then boom, on the Deal Machine, you're just, like I'm picturing like a Zillow app or a Redfin app. You click that house, and then that's going to automatically start sending it to this other list. Then from that, you compile, I don't know, 15 or 20 homes that you found that one drive, right? And then you're going to start to email and specifically target text calls. And by calls, are you doing like physical cold calls, or is it like a robo dialer where it's just leaving a voicemail, or what's your call look like?
Yeah, just cold calling. So I think on the previous episode that I did with you, we talked about the 40-day challenge, where I actually went out and did this live with the camera crew following me. And in 40 days, I made 93 grand wholesaling, and then kept 2 rentals with 100 grand in equity. So I made almost $200,000 in 40 days doing this, documenting it. And so when we cold call, we use a triple line dialer called mojosales.com. There's more than one. There's lots of them out there. A lot of my real estate agents listen in. You guys know, like you guys use that kind of stuff a lot. Texting, we're using batch leads. So you can go to batchleads.com. I should give you guys some discounts so you can save some money too. So with batch leads for texting, you can use the discount code DFD, stands for driving for dollars. And then with Deal Machine, you can use the discount code PIN, PIN, to get a nice discount as well. So and then to get phone numbers for a much better price, we actually don't use Deal Machine. We use a company called Batch Skip Tracing, which is a sister company of Batch Leads. So Batch Skip Tracing, you can use my discount code DFD as well. But yeah, I mean, that's what we're doing. And it's pretty cool because my wife and I, we've been debating for like a year, like, where are we going to live? Where do we want to live? And when I was a window washer, I got to work in all the wealthy areas here in Utah and meet some amazing people. And I love this little place called Mountain Green. It's beautiful mountain views. And I, from the time I was a teenager washing windows, I was like, I'm going to live here one day. But my wife's from Sao Paulo, Brazil, 18 million people. And so like Salt Lake City's like small town for her, right? So moving her kind of up in the mountains where there's cows was out of the question. But she finally convinced that that's a good idea where we could raise our kids. And so I finally got the green light. We drove around up there and said, tell me what neighborhood you want to live in and I'll find us a house. And so we identified the exact like subdivision that she wanted. And within 1 hour, I had tagged all the properties in the neighborhood, had phone numbers, and was doing a texting campaign to that whole neighborhood saying, hey, I want to raise my family here. Any of you want to sell your house? I'll pay full retail. You don't have to pay an agent. And I found a buyer within an hour. or a seller, sorry, within an hour, within our price range, the exact house that we'd want that's within walking distance to the school. And so it's pretty cool because these strategies that I use, it would work for a real estate agent to find listings. It would work for you to find a personal home, to find investment properties, flips, buy and holds, or even wholesale deals like I use it for. So it's kind of cool how much this strategy has blessed my family and continues to bless my family in different ways than I ever expected. So it's pretty awesome.
Love it. Absolutely love it. So we got all those. You guys got it. Batchleads.com, DFD, Deal Machine, look PIM, P as in Paul, I, and then M as in Mary, and then Batch Kept Chasing DFD for the discount codes. And then you use it for your own place. You got the dream house in the mountains, loving it. That's really, really, really inspiring. And so let's talk about your coaching program and what you do there. Like, so if you're a commercial real estate broker listening to this and you want to level up your skip tracing and your uncovering leads, what's that look like? What's kind of the process there? Kind of give us the rhythm and the flow of that.
Yeah. So first I want to say this, like, check out my free content first. I want you to check out my free content. So I have a podcast. You can go to drivingfordollarsmastery.com. And you might be thinking, why are you not promoting your coaching? And it's not because I don't want you to become a student, but I want you to, when you do join, you understand what you're getting yourself into, because it's a lot of work, right? I have some requirements, to go through those really quick. I require that you have enough time. I need at least 15 hours a week from you to dedicate to this. I need you to spend at least $500 in marketing. I need you to be okay sharing your success story on social media and being on my podcast once we help you do a deal. And I need you to tune out all other gurus. What I say is all you need. And so I need you to not do a hybrid of what you heard there and what you hear here and what you hear from me, right? I need you to do exactly what I tell you to do. And then once you get access to the course, there's no binge watching. It's implementation as you go. There's no watching the entire course and then starting it from zero. No, you do the first video, you watch it, you implement. They're in order. So anyways, when you join my program, you get an online course that's the action steps, everything you need to do to be able to source deals, find deals, wholesale deals, negotiate, everything you need to know around wholesaling and sourcing deals. So you don't necessarily have to wholesale if you want to buy and hold or flip, but I teach you how to find the deals, how to negotiate them, and the entire process. You also get direct access to me. You have my cell phone number. We have a weekly group coaching call. It's a Zoom call. There's a support through Facebook. Any questions you have, I'm there. Your picture goes on my office wall. This is my recording studio, but you go on my office wall. It helps me remember who you are, what market you're in, where you're at. I have sticky notes on all my students and updates and what contracts they have and where they're at in their businesses. So it's pretty intensive. Like, if you join my program, I want you like really dedicated. That's why I say check out the free content first, because I'm not here to recruit. I'm here to actually help and serve and give a ton of free value. So, but yeah, if you're interested, you can go to my website and book a call and talk to us more about what it is and how it works if you are interested.
I absolutely love that approach. And I think that's so true, right? Because you want it to be a slam dunk and a home run for everybody. And if you don't have the time or the ability to commit and follow these things, then it's going to be tough. It reminds me of sports growing up, right? Playing basketball, playing football. And there was like, these are the non-negotiables, right? And it's like, if you're not going to eat those basics, then we already know it's not going to be a winner for you or for us. So let's just establish those up front. 15 hours per week, $500 at least to spend a marketing spend. Okay, so, sharing success stories, right? Tune out all other gurus, no binge watching. I love that. And you're going to go in order, and then we're going to implement. Like, watch it, implement, and slowly build. Is that a fair summary?
100%. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because all those things, I started coaching for the sheer fact of putting $1 million in my students' pockets. Like, remember I did the self-help journal, and it talked about whatever you want to receive, you have to give. So I had set a goal of generating $1 million in a year, and I had no freaking clue how, but I started teaching to put $1 million in other people's pockets. And the more I taught, the more I learned. And then I also, because I started coaching to make my students successful, I started really learning what made students successful and what kept students from being successful, right? What were the roadblocks? What kept them from being successful? It's what made me such a successful coach. And I say I'm the most successful wholesaling coach that exists out there, not because I'm so great or how much money I make as a coach, because I'm horrible in that world. I promise. There's guys making way more money than me as a wholesaling coach, but my students are more successful. I have the highest success rate. My students are successful because what I teach and how I teach it works, right? And I want to keep it that way. I don't want to tarnish the effectiveness of what I do. So
love it, brother, man. I'm so glad you're so clear on that. And that's fantastic. Helping others get what they want. You get everything you want and learning along the way. That being said, you can learn more about Zack Boothe at dfdmastery.com. You ready for the lightning round?
I am ready.
Zack, here we go. Knowing what you know now, if you go back to your 20-year-old self, what's the one golden nugget you'd make sure to tell yourself to do?
I would say you're not stupid. I probably shared this last time. I really would say this. You're not stupid. Invest into education. Educate yourself. Not traditional education, but invest into education and things that you find interesting. And don't just hustle, right? Hustle is part of it, but it's kind of like getting fit. 80%'s in the kitchen, 20%'s in the gym. I really believe that 80% of our success is our understanding, our education, and then the 20%'s the implementation.
Excellent. Number one book you've recommended or given for the most in the past year?
Two. I'm gonna give two, okay? Because I can't just do one. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I love that book. I refer to it a lot. Stephen Covey. And then another fantastic one that I have all of my employees read because I want them to have a good mindset when it comes to money, because we're trying to make money, right? It's actually this one, The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. So it's an amazing mindset book around money and overcoming limiting beliefs around money.
Beautiful. Next question. What are you most curious about right now?
Chasing my purpose in life. It's been really fun. You know, I've had a lot of successful students over the last 2 years that I've helped to make a lot of money. And a lot of those students are now coming back to me and asking for help on how to scale and automate their businesses. And they're asking me questions like, how do I know if my goal's big enough? And they're listening to things from like Grant Cardone, where it's like, you got to 10x your goal. Your goal's got to be hairy and audacious. You know, your goal has to be bigger. You're thinking too small. And so they're building goals to feed their ego and not necessarily building a business to serve their life's purpose and their mission. And I'm finding it very interesting as I'm helping these students scale and automate their businesses to learn to build their goals around building a business that serves their long-term mission, right? Living with the end in mind by Stephen Covey, right? Talks about that. And so that's been really, really fun for me to really start to, I'm only 32, but I feel like I'm getting older. You know, I've been in business, started my first business when I was 17, and it's been really fun to see that evolution of just hustling to make money. And then I got to the point where I had more money and I knew what to do with. And then it kind of was like, well, now what? And finding purpose behind my businesses and seeing people's lives being changed. And, so, building a business around purpose more so than just profits has been a very, very fun thing that I'm starting to discover in life.
Excellent. Zack, we're out of time now. For our listeners who want to get in touch with you, what's the one place that they can find you? Remind them one last time.
Yep. drivingfordollarsmastery.com or dfdmastery.com.
Beautiful. Zack Boothe, thank you for being on the show. Thank you for sharing so much wisdom. Man, I'm better for it. I'm inspired to start my mojo, my batch skip tracing, my deal machine, my batch leads, but more so get a coach like Zack to help you, guide you along the way, right? Whether you're a commercial real estate broker, whether you're a commercial real estate investor, if you don't have a coach who's helping you to level up and all of these fundamentals of finding, sourcing deals and doing deals, you're missing out. And Zack is a great choice. I think you've gleaned that here so far. So
can I say something around coaching?
Sure.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, because I think some people will hear that and think that I'm like paying you to pitch me, right? And I know you're not, and the audience may not know that. But but I really think that you should get a coach, right? And I'm not saying that because I want you to hire me. I want you to find a coach that's doing and has accomplished what you're trying to accomplish, that consistently can give that to other people and has done that, and someone that you could be friends with, right? Because if you have to spend time with that person and you don't like him or her, right, then don't hire that person. So I think that's a criteria. Go find a coach, even if it's not me. One of the biggest mistakes, like I said, when I was in my early 20s, I just hustled and tried to make all the mistakes myself instead of investing into education. The success I have had is because of my coaches, because of Tom Kroll, because of Cody Hoffine, because of Brent Daniels, because of Pace Morby, because of, I could go on, and Tony Robbins. And I've spent so much money with all these people, and it's changed my life forever. So totally, this was not a pitch, and there's no compensation here.
Yeah.
I really want you guys to really find a coach. So I wanted to make sure that was said.
That's beautiful, Zach. No, thank you so much. Warren Buffett said it well. The best investment you can make is in yourself, right? So,
yeah.
So it's don't go it alone. Get a coach, level up, and go and serve in your highest and best purpose for other people. Zach, thanks for being on the show, and also want to thank our listeners for listening to another episode of the Expert CRE Secrets podcast, also streamed on capitalgainstaxsolutions.com, where we believe most commercial real estate brokers, M&A advisors, business brokers, they struggle with clarifying their passive income options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy, and using a proven brokerage model with EXP Commercial and buying investment real estate and doing some wholesaling with someone like Zack Boothe is a great way to build your wealth. You can go to expertcresecrets.com to learn more about that. And if you want to learn about how to eliminate the need for the 1031 exchange and level up your business for your clients in the commercial real estate world, you can also go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com to learn about the Deferred Sales Trust. Hey, thanks everyone for listening. We so appreciate you out there.